It's thebarlive.com, PMS, Bugs Moran Show for a Friday. It's a Friday afternoon here in beautiful sunny North Dallas, Texas, broadcasting live from the Sunbrew Beach House, located approximately coordinates unknown. None of your business. You must be invited here. Jimmy Ryan is here. Hi, Jimmy. How are you?
Doing good, man.
And Brandon is here as well. Hi, Brandon. How are you?
Hey.
What's happening today, guys? All right, finally, everything's working.
What's happening? We got the new location today, man. Addison Cigar and Tobacco over off of Addison Road. Out there off in Addison.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, going to be fun. New show all about smoking tobacco.
Oh, very exciting.
And the goings-on of the cigar shop. You know, they have like a little country club over there. Have you been there before, Pugs? I don't think you have you?
Addison Tobacco?
Right there across the street from the old Gillespie Jewelers location.
Sure, yeah, I know exactly where it is. Sure, I know people who have frequented that establishment.
By invite only, there's a secret door over there you can go past. It's like a little hangout room. It's very cool. You got to be a member, though.
Mm-hmm.
So we hope to make it past those doors today and get to hang out with the guys and, you know, just look cool smoking cigars all day.
Yeah.
You want to be invited?
Yeah, I'm sorry. That sounds like a really great. You know, why don't you do a quick commercial for that? And I need to step out for a second, okay?
Okay.
Because this is something going on today, this afternoon. I'm going to be right back, folks. But this is a new sponsor, and if you enjoy listening to this show or other shows like that, come on, you got to help us out with the sponsors, folks. It's a team effort here. So go ahead, you tell that. Folks, I'm sorry. I've got some personal behind-the-scenes business going on right now. I really need to take care of this. I do apologize. This will not go on all day. But go ahead. Tell us about Addison Tobacco.
Basically, man, Jimmy, it's me and you, man. And then what's cool is today we're going to have Kelly. Everyone loves Kelly. She's tall, long-legged. The winner of multiple titles of bikini contest in her short career, which has been going on for, 3 months now, I guess.
Oh, she's won multiple now.
Yeah, I think her first contest was in May. It was May, and we're barely into July. So, geez, hold on. So in 2 months, she's got about 5 or 6 wins. She's won every bikini contest she's been in with us.
Jeez.
Which is I think she did 3 in Austin, 1 over at the Harley. So she's got 4 wins out of 4 tries, 100%.
Yeah, at first I was thinking, I was really going for it, but at some point she just needs to let the other girls win at some point, you know?
She gets a little bit, she get a little cocky probably, dude, a little high. But here's what people don't know. This is an interesting fact, Jimmy, and maybe you're not even aware of this, because if you watch the video from our trip to Austin, have you seen any of that video, Jimmy?
Nuh-uh.
You got to check it out, man. The beer belly contest alone. We should pull that video up and play the last part. Is there a way you can, while I'm doing this, you could find it on YouTube?
Yeah, it's going to take it's going to be a while before we can actually play it, though. I got to download it and then rip it.
We really should have this because it's really good. And it's just the last 3 minutes of that video are just freaking hilarious about my beer belly contest that I run. It's awesome. But Kelly, actually, what people don't realize is you watch the video and you check the news out there in the bikini world, it appears that Kelly lost that contest.
News in the bikini world?
Oh, yeah, breaking
news.
Did you
I don't know the newsletter?
I don't know if CNN reports on it nowadays, but I know that other people have covered it, okay? It's been covered. I don't know if Fox News is part of it or where it ends up, but it's all over the news, okay? If your competitive bikini world is very, there's money involved, there's beautiful women involved, so you know there's a lot of cat fights going on, okay? But what people don't realize, if you watch the Miss Cowboy Harley Davidson bikini contest, it appears that Kelly got second place. The reason she got second, she actually won, Jimmy, but because she has a title at a different location, she's got the title of Miss Harley Davidson of Dallas, she couldn't have multiple titles. So behind the scenes, she got the first place win. In front of the people, it looks like she got second.
Oh.
So, it's kind of like one of those little things with an asterisk mark. Second place, but really, we all know she got first. So she got the cash prize. That's really what it boils down to. She's already got a crown. What do you think, Jimmy? Do you feel like people should win multiple titles, or do you feel like it's just it takes away from the competition?
I figured mine as well. Keep it interesting.
You're saying let them have multiple titles?
Yeah.
The problem is it'd be like Miss Texas also be Miss Oklahoma. Do you see how that could be a conflict?
Mm-hmm.
It just gets a little bit confusing. And how do you really represent one dealership and another? Because those dealerships are competitors. So they really don't want the cross promotion there of the girl. You know what I'm saying? They want to claim around. So we have to kind of do it that way. Keeps a lot of the fighting from the, Harley. You've seen biker organizations. They can fight sometimes. You know what I mean?
I definitely assumed that they would be able to.
And they're very territorial. In fact, in the world of Harley, you can only market certain areas. You can't go outside of your zone, so to speak. So it's just like you've seen on TV. If you ever watched the biker shows out there, it can get violent.
I have not seen the biker shows, but I assume just by the looks in some of their eyes.
You've been around enough bikers though through our shows to know what I'm talking about, Jimmy.
Yeah.
And we don't want that kind of thing happening. I mean, she could end up missing. You know what I'm saying? A girl with multiple titles, somebody from the other team could get mad and just, it's gone. Kelly just disappears one day. We've lost her, okay? So, but we're going to be at the Addison Cigar and Tobacco today. And, man, my boy over there, Mark, they got 2 locations. Actually, they got 3 locations. They got one in Grapevine over off Main Street. They got one over off of Green Oaks and Collins and Arlington. And they have the one over here that's really close to us. And it's very cool because I never realized until I stepped into their shop a couple years ago when they first hired Sunbrew what goes on at cigar shops. It's like a little country club without the golf. Now, they do have golf on TV because there's lots of TVs in the back room. But they play a lot of poker just for having a good time, some little fun poker games. Lots of free beer at their events.
What I kind of assumed is the day if I were ever to find myself married and wanting to get out of the house, that's where I would go.
I think the first time we did a show that we talked about that, how you could sign up and it's like your escape from reality for a little bit, dude.
Yeah.
Go have a stogie. They call them stogie still, you think?
I would.
You call 'em
Stogie sounds
stogie?
pretty badass, yeah.
I'll ask them today about the etiquette. I don't want to say the wrong thing, call it a stogie, and it's something from the 20 years ago. And they're like, dude, it's not called a stogie. There might be a whole new term that we're not aware of. It's very weird. These guys just kind of sit back, and there's something about cigars that's kind of sexy. You know what I mean? A guy's got a cigar. What does it tell you? It looks powerful. Think about it. The Godfather smoked a cigar, right?
I always think of it as like a celebratory type thing.
With kids. A man that loves children,
Right.
he probably got lots of cigars, right?
I would imagine, yes. The kids love cigars.
Where did that come from? Where did the giving out cigars for a child being born come from, do you think?
I don't know.
You remember when you were a kid? Now, hold on. This is what's interesting. We talked about fake cigarettes. Now, Pugs will remember this as he's walking. I hope he can hear what I'm saying. But when I was a kid, they sold, just like they had the fake cigarettes that came in cigarette boxes, that actually you could puff them and it blew out fake smoke, which is like powder, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
They don't sell those anymore, do they?
No, they don't. But remember the fake cigars that were like pink and blue?
Yeah, and they were bubble gum.
Bubble gum, yes.
Yeah.
Those are gone too, right?
Yeah.
You got to think those
And
are gone.
rightfully so, though.
Remember the fake cans of beer that were really just Snicker bars the kids would drink?
No, I don't remember
Kidding
that.
about the beer.
But no, but that's why. I mean, that's sort of a bad sort of image to be getting kids doing. You know, a little 2-year-old, 3-year-old sucking on like a bubble gum cigarette.
Well, hold on. Here's
imitating their parents. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
Come on, that's not good.
Can I tell you the one thing that might still be in existence? It's probably gone, but it might still be out there. And it's the thing, I think out of all those things, it's the thing that lasted the longest. The Big Chew. Where it looked like it had tobacco. Is that still around? Because that was a pretty popular thing.
the bubblegum cigar is still around too.
Are you sure?
Yes, and I promise you that they'll have them at Addison Cigar Shop because a lot of times when people have babies and they buy the assortment of cigars, some people don't smoke cigars, so they throw some of those bubblegum ones in there.
Now, that might be the only reason they exist. They're probably sold in adult areas. Bubblegum cigars.
Yeah, I think they're a novelty. I mean, I don't know. I guess if you went to like a big confectionery store where their whole thing was candy, you'd be able to find them. But yeah, they're not easily available the way they were when we were kids.
Can you Google Big League Chew because you have the computer?
Yeah,
You mind?
I know Big League Chew is still around.
Is it? Yeah. Now see, that's something that I'm surprised.
I see
lasted.
that all the time.
But it seems like dipping and snuff and all that doesn't get as bad as a rap as smoking does.
No, it doesn't because it's not as prevalent. Not as
not
many
as prevalent?
people do it. Yeah.
But you got to think at some point that might be outlawed for kids as well.
Honestly, if it hasn't been outlawed yet, I don't think it's going to. But you're right. I mean, it does seem like the sort of thing. If you're going to be banning these adult products that allow children to imitate adults, then yeah, it's still around. You could still buy it. You would think that they would go with the chewing tobacco thing too.
You know what's crazy?
Especially since it was marketed to Little League baseball players.
Right.
That's who originally the market was for Big League Chew.
I'm coming up with bubblegum condoms. Think that'll
might
go over
work.
well?
Hey, that would go well for adults. You could put it on you could put it on and let someone chew a little bit.
I was going to say, I think they already
Give you a
have that.
They call those blow pops too, don't
Yeah.
they? Here's what's interesting though. It would just with the power of the internet, it would just take one radical mom that just has a thing for Big League to really start a campaign that could get that bubblegum knocked out of a lot of locations.
Oh, sure it could. Yeah.
Isn't that
absolutely.
scary to think about? Like that whole company by one crazy radical mom with the power of the internet and Facebook and all this stuff going on could literally get that thrown out of several stores if she made a big enough bitch about it.
Doesn't surprise me. I mean, one person can overturn an entire nation if they want to. That's how we are. One person complains, and then we get an entire bureaucratic substructure to sort of enact on one person. We were talking about this yesterday with the writing letters. You want to write, like, I'm going to write a letter to the North Dallas Chamber of Commerce telling them that they shouldn't be testing their alarms on 4th of July because people think that something bad is happening. So now I write that letter, right? And now someone's got to address that letter. So someone's got to do a day's work addressing my ridiculous. See, that's what it is. We've all this bureaucracy. Everybody, the individual has way too much power.
Yeah,
it really does. Way too much power to just overturn things. Do you remember the PMRC, the Parent Music Resource Center?
No.
It was they were the people who got labels put on music albums. Back
Al
in the
Gore was
90s.
part of that, right?
No, Tipper Gore was part of it.
Tipper Gore,
but
yes.
yeah, Al Gore was not. The PMRC was just 3 well-positioned women who were married to high-powered guys. 3 women thought Two Live Crew was obscene, and suddenly every record in every record store had a label on it. 3 people got that done.
Crazy moms are able to do a lot of crazy stuff.
Crazy moms are right.
I'd like to have my very own lunatic crazy mom that
Yeah.
like is basically out there for anything that I tell her to be out there for. You
Yeah,
know, like
that'd be good.
pro piracy. Throw out the crazy mom.
What if we started our own
Moms
thing?
for piracy.
What if we had our own little thing here? We create something that's kind of crazy, and I'd like to do it for strip clubs. They need to be labeled like ghetto strip club, high-end strip club, hot chick strip club. You know what I mean? They need to have a rating system. Like the girls in here are at least a 7 or above, at least 80% are. We could do a rating system where you have to have like a star program before you walk in. You at least know what you're walking into.
Well, don't you know that, though, from the facade? Can't you kind of get an idea of what the inside of the
trying to cause
gentleman's
a stir
club
here,
is going to be
brother.
like?
I'm trying to cause a stir. We're trying to be radicals.
You need
Okay.
to get moms on your side.
Yeah, moms for good strip clubs.
Yeah.
That's what that would be.
Hey, but isn't that not a bad idea? In all fairness, like a rating system of like to know what to expect, because strip clubs there's a variety. There's black strip
Yeah.
clubs. There's ghetto strip. There's a high end. There's the kind you can't wear a hat into. There's kind you can. That's not a bad idea, is it?
Well,
Sort of a rating system lets you know what to expect.
okay. So a rating system. Where does this rating system exist?
Where does it exist?
Yeah.
The front door, and also in all advertising, it would have to be just like a
Okay,
R
so
or
a bar that's
PG-17.
got a 3 rating is going to put the advertisement that they're a 3
No,
rating on
no,
their front
you're
door.
you're missing it. It's not a 3
Well, I'm
rating.
trying not to listen.
It's a rating that says like let's say it's mainly Latino, so BL Ds, big Latino dancers. You know what I mean?
Okay, and where would that
So
rating
basically,
be?
this is like a
all
Craigslist
their,
ad.
all their advertising
Like,
has
where would I see that rating?
everywhere.
Where would that
At the
information
front door, all
So
advertising.
they're paying for it?
It's a rating system. It's a
They're
law.
paying to let people know that they've got subpar strippers? This doesn't really work.
Then they have to step up their game. Here's
Here's
I
what you
can't
have
help
to
it's
do.
a rating
No,
system.
They cannot be involved. You have to independently rate them. They can't be involved in any way. Otherwise, the ratings mean nothing.
But you could make them. We could send our people out to. I'll do it. Rate them. I have no problem.
So you'll go and rate all
I'd
these.
love to. I'd love it. It'd be a
Okay,
great
and
job.
then where will people find
and then
the ratings?
And then by law, they have to post the ratings.
but
that I
that's
give
not
them.
by law, though.
But we can, that's
Are you living? Are we seriously thinking about a hypothetical idea here, or are we living in an alternate universe where we get to make the laws?
We can have a voice and say and bitch
get
enough
upset.
and create a law about.
Don't get
this.
upset. We're working through this.
Okay, but we can go to the Congress and they hate strip clubs. If they can tax them on this, they're going to love it. And say these clubs have to pay the service. We'll do the service, and basically it's like $1,000 a year. The government would love that idea, and they can make that happen.
Government doesn't want anything to do with gentlemen's clubs.
They
They want
wanna
to
make
stay
the-
as far
yes.
away from it as possible.
If they can find them or feed them and they can make money, they will be all about it. If they can have a reason to bitch them out, they will love this idea.
Well, I think that's a terrible idea.
Well, you're an idiot.
Maybe so. I just don't know where. See, again, where is
I
the,
didn't mean to call you an idiot.
No, it's all right. You can do it all the time. I just don't understand how, if you're going to see, you have to have legitimate ratings. If you're going to do a rating system, you got to be legitimate. If a place sucks, you got to say it sucks. And
I will
don't
do
see-
that.
But I don't see a place putting it up on their front door that Brandon's rating says they suck.
You missed the point. It's a law. The law.
All right, but how do we get the law passed?
We go to Congress.
You
We
don't know
bitch.
how laws get passed. You can't just go to Congress and get a law passed.
I've got phone numbers in my phone to people that are local on the city council that can help us get this rolling.
Let's call them. Let's call them right now and let's pitch this idea to them and let's see what they say.
It's not a bad idea.
It's a terrible terrible idea. And I'm just here to let you know it's a fun idea. I'll give you that. It was fun. It occupied the last couple of minutes of show. I thought that was great.
You know,
but it wasn't. But it wasn't.
Can I tell you something you might be shocked by?
It's not a practical idea.
Some people they intentionally, I know some owners, and you know these people I'm talking about, they intentionally hire the overweight Hispanic girls because the Hispanic guys seem to like those girls.
Yeah, there are definitely there's definitely a different strokes for different folks. I mean, I do know club owners who have said that, yeah, we keep one or two big girls around just because people like them sometimes.
I'll tell you something furthermore. Maybe not everyone has to, maybe we can't get this law passed, but if we put our voice out there enough and broadcast and promote this whole concept, people that have what it takes to get a good rating, like a hot, like a hot badass chick HBC rating.
Can't you see this being a conversation taking place on the Congress floor?
I can see Congress being okay with hot badass chick.
But you know what they're going to do, though?
The gentleman from Parker County now has the floor.
You see, this is a hot badass chick rating.
HBC.
Right.
Got to keep it simple, man. Make it it's just like PG. I mean, listen, you're making fun of this, but they did it for movies. PG-17, rated X. It exists. Why not for strip clubs? And like I said, if the government can make them pay a fee every month to regulate this, because it's how it works, and they can go, oh, you don't have your sign up at the front door. That's a $10,000 fine.
Okay, but what is
love it?
All right, and what is the end? Because this is what you're going to have to get the politicians to go on. You're going to have to convince them. What is the purpose of the rating system?
Because we don't want a false advertising, and deep down inside we know that really it's just a way to mess with the strip clubs because they're always jacking with them anyway. Now they're trying to get employee wages done.
They ain't going for that.
That member of
they
Congress.
They ain't looking to pick a fight unless they know
Yes,
they can
do.
win.
Hold on.
No.
Can I say something about being interrupted for a second?
Yeah.
Do you know right now there's a major battle going on where they're trying to say these girls are employees and they want them to be taxed properly, and they jack with these clubs all the time? You're saying
that's different. That's revenue. That's
That's
whole
what I'm
different
talking
thing.
about. Did I not say-
You're talking about hanging a scarlet letter around the neck of clubs
that they have to pay for to the government,
which is a law, which is what you want. A law basically demeaning their product.
You just
saying
said
that this is not a good strip
Stop
club.
it. You just said revenue. I'm generating revenue because they have to pay the government for that. Yes, they do. If there's, you know what? When I had a tanning salon, I had to pay the government to come here and check out my tanning salon. It's the same thing.
The taxing of dancers is a different issue because the tax revenue stream already exists, and it's something that they feel that they're skirting. You are thinking of creating an entirely new revenue stream. You want to fine them for not hanging a sign that says they got fat dancers inside. That's what you're suggesting.
You're a trailblazer. That's all
That's
it is.
exactly what I
Nobody understands the mind of a trailblazer. That's
And the
absolutely
thing about
true.
it is the government, if they make it a law, these clubs have to go by it. And they have to pay their money monthly, annually, however they want to do it. And I guarantee they're going to mess up. When they mess up, the government gets to walk and go, $10,000 fine. They love that, dude. I used to have a tanning salon. It's the same thing. They come in and you realize in a tanning salon, they can walk in, see that font on the Scarface. Let's just picture a font. And people know what a font is, like a little, where it says Brandon Shaw. If you have the wrong font size, the wrong size of the lettering on that sign, they fine you.
Yeah, that's
You can have it too big. Like you can
that's
say,
the city, though.
then let's get the cities involved. I don't care who's doing it.
It's okay.
Let's just get
it's
whoever
not
wants to do it.
It's not like, it's an ordinance. There's a difference between an ordinance and a law. A city ordinance is something that the city enacts to keep in line all the different businesses who are doing.
There you go. Then we'll start from the city. That's fine with me. I got no problem. I'm not trying to be.
You want ordinances now? You gotta hang signs.
You know what I
Okay.
do? I'm gonna find the smallest little small town that I can walk in and grease a finger, a palm here and there, and make it happen. Maybe I'll
But
start
to
with
what
something like
end? Why are you
Kaufman.
putting money out now? Now you're greasing fingers. Why? What's the
Because
end
I
game
can
for
come
you?
back and say that I was a trailblazer and I started it and it was all. It might be called the Shaw Law.
Yeah, sure.
How
Okay.
cool would that be? You think I wouldn't pay $1,000 to have a Shaw Law?
Oh, I'm sure someday there'll be a law called the Shaw Law. I'm not sure what it'll be covering, but it'll be something to do with
You know, I appreciate this idea you gave me. I think it's great. And I tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to contact my local, maybe Caddo Mills, maybe something like Paris, Texas, something small. Have only one, and I'm going to start this up, and they're going to love it.
See, this wasn't an idea I gave you. I was simply pointing out why we have such high expenses when it comes to government and why we have such a big government, because busybodies are always trying to get bureaucrats involved in something that they want to do from a grassroots level. And that means that somebody's got to take time out to sit in front of a computer and write a letter to that lunatic who wants them to do something. Therefore, that person is employed because we're servicing lunatics. That's why we have big bureaucracy and big government. We have too much of a voice. It's not the other way around.
You know what's great? I love this idea.
Seriously, somebody has to respond to all these crazy, constituent letters.
What's the smallest town locally here that's close within like an hour? Like, it's got like population 300, but one strip club.
God, I don't know. Isn't there any number of time? I mean, couldn't we name just let's pull up
Crumb.
a map?
Crumb,
What's
Texas.
Crumb?
But do they have a strip
Crumb is-
club?
That's
is
the
the
one that I
question.
always think is just sounds far.
The only problem is if I go to too small of a town that it could be a corrupt town, and that strip club might be taking care of business on the, you know what I'm saying, behind the scenes.
Because that's what you want. You want to bring this law to a corrupt town. Because you.
No, I don't want to go to corrupt town. If I go to corrupt town, they'll probably say get out of here because the strip club is taking care of business, paying them some money.
Exactly.
So I got to be smart about this, dude. I think it's a great idea.
All right, let's see what we got here.
I think you just need to get one congressman, behind you, where he'll start out that speech. I want to talk about the most important issues of the day. Who doesn't like it when you go into a strip club and there's 3 big Latina chicks that you weren't aware of?
I hate when I drive around and I don't know.
false advertising.
What's crazy is I'm the guy looking for. See, I can be a fair person and going, I'm looking for the ghetto strip club. I'd like to know which ones. I get pissed when I go. It's not a bad system. Did you find me a town there to start with?
Yeah. Why don't we? You want to start with how far out you want to go? Azle.
No more than an hour. An hour or under.
All right, so let's do.
Gas is
Let's
expensive.
do Wills Point, Texas. That's out there on 80.
Oh yeah, that's not
With
bad.
an idea like this, Brandon, you really should just reach for the stars. Be willing to drive 2 hours,
I mean, it might be something that might be better to cross straight lines and go to Oklahoma with this.
See what's going on in
Louisiana.
Wills Point. See if Wills Point has a. This looks like a nice little town for you, right? This is about what you're talking about.
Start your corrupt program.
All right.
I need to go there and get with the PTA and do some stuff with them first. Really get the women behind me.
Well, let's get close. Let's see if they have a gentleman's club.
Oh, there you go. How cool is that? Yeah. Okay, good. Little GC.
Can't imagine
They got a
the
Dairy Queen.
PTA meeting in Azle, Texas being against this idea.
Ooh, I could actually use the Dairy Queen. And, in small towns, Dairy Queens are like country clubs. That's a gathering place. I could go to Dairy Queen to get my whole campaign started.
That and Sonic.
Yeah.
Hang out at the Sonic.
And the cute girls work at Sonic.
You can go to the Chamber of Commerce at 4th Street and High Street.
I want to start with the people.
Well, that's kind of how you reach the people. At
Take
the
the
Chamber of
message to
Commerce.
the people.
I'm gonna sit there to Dairy Queen and Sonic and actually pass out flowers. I'll bring a bunch of Sunbrew girls and we'll pass out flowers.
All right, well, there's a Dairy Queen right there on the strip, man.
There we
right
go.
there on the main strip through
DQ,
town.
baby.
You got yourself a Dairy Queen.
What's the guy that used to the Dairy Q guy that used to cruise around Texas doing 4 Country Reporter? Bob Phillips. Is that his name? Dun dun dun. He used to drive around Texas. 4 Country Reporter. He's on Channel 8 now or something. Y'all don't remember him? Y'all don't know him? He's been around forever since I was a little kid. He would know exactly where to go for this.
Okay, well, maybe we ought to reach out to him.
Did you find me a Dairy Queen on the strip though? Seriously?
Yeah, there's Dairy Queen right here.
I'm gonna Google. Give me it's called Will. It's WILLS or Willis.
Willis Point. WILLIS Point. Willis Point,
is that a
Texas.
city around here? Yeah.
It's not far. It's not that far.
I'm blown away by the names around here. I just assume that they're without.
Let's find out a little bit about Willis Point. What do you say?
Pull up a.
Never heard of it.
Pull up the clubs there.
Well, hold on.
What I'll come and do like a beauty pageant, real clean cut, full back bikinis, or actually 1-piece swimsuits, and go, look, man, we got to start this. This is BS. We got to get a rating system. This is a ghetto strip club.
All right, here, let's learn about Willis Point, okay? It's a city in Van Zandt County, Texas. The population as of the 2000 census was 3,000 people.
Oh, I could shake every one of their hands so easily.
Yeah? Okay.
But would you?
Founded in 1873, Willis Point, Texas gets its name from an early American settler, William Willis, who had arrived in the area in about 1848. Willis eventually purchased a cabin from Adam Sullivan in 1852. The name Point may also derive from the shape of the original timber line near the cabin. All right, nobody cares.
You know what? First thing I'm gonna do, find me a person who's got the last name Willis. Me and so and so Willis are gonna come to town and talk about the heritage of this town, and we're gonna embark the Willis. We'll call it the Willis. We need to call the law the Willis Shaw.
Here's what I love about Wikipedia when you put in a town.
It already told you when Willis Point is going to be over. It's been destroyed in 2030.
No, but they always give you a link to famous people from that town. And it's always interesting whenever you have a town. You go, oh, I wonder who's from there, and you click on it, and you're like, oh, Brad Pitt's from there. Real, it's like stuff like that. Yeah, Willis Point has nobody.
Oh, okay.
There's nobody from Willis Point.
I was preparing
Texas.
myself to hear there was 6 or 7 people, all huge Hollywood celebrities from Willis
Who's
Point,
from there? Who'd you say is from there?
Nobody is from there.
except Bruce Willis.
Yeah,
You know what's kind of cool?
he had a point.
You realize that guys like if we were in a small town like that, you might be the biggest thing to ever come out of there.
Hold
How
on.
cool would that be?
Let's see that. Where are you from? You from Louisville?
If you make it to Dallas, you're probably the biggest thing that ever came out of there.
Are you you're from Louisville? Right? All right, let's see who famous people from Louisville are. You know any famous people from Louisville?
No.
No? All right, let's see here. Boom, 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 boom. This is always good. It always has like famous people, usually. Oh, they're talking about the MC Grand Theater. Got a big theater out there in Louisville?
No, do we?
MCM Grand?
Apparently you do.
All
yeah.
right.
Yeah, okay. No list of famous people from Louisville.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I don't think that they would actually have people that would come out of Louisville become famous.
What about you, Brandon? Where are you from?
Pleasant Grove.
Pleasant Grove. All right, let's see what kind of famous people you got from Pleasant Grove. Let's see who's there. Pleasant Grove, Texas, of course.
Larry Johnson.
Is he from there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All
Russ Martin.
right. Well, I don't think he's gonna make Wikipedia.
I would hope not, but
Pleasant Grove. Okay, that's Pleasant Grove, Dallas. I guess that's what they're asking for. It's the city of Dallas. It's just a neighborhood.
that's my high school.
History, transportation.
And my buddy ripped those front doors off that high school and had to put the cylinder blocks up.
All right, here you go. Famous residents. Oh, this isn't bad.
Brandon Shaw.
This is not bad. How about Dan Seals from Seals and Croft?
Who?
Dan Seals and Croft. Come on, big in the 70s.
Don't know.
All right. John Ford Cooley. I don't know who that was. He was from the band England Dan and John Ford Cooley. They got some music guys there.
Keep going down the list. I want to see.
Lulu Roman, former Hee Haw TV
Yeah,
show.
Lulu's from Pleasant Grove.
I don't know who Lulu is.
Oh my God, Lulu, the big fat chick on Hee Haw, and she went to my church in Rockwall, and they made a big. I don't know if she's from Pleasant Grove. That's
Really?
awesome.
Yeah.
She was a major star.
Well, there you go.
Joe Kendall, former federal judge, is from there.
Really? Yeah.
Russ Martin, host of the Russ Martin Show, is from there. He got himself a mention. That's surprising. Carl Mitchum, philosopher of technology and engineering at the Colorado School of Mines, is from there. Maceo Baston grew up in Pleasant Grove area and attended Nancy Mosley Elementary School. He plays for the Toronto Raptors. Never heard of him. Oh, yes, I have. Maceo. Okay, I've heard of him. CJ Miles, huh? Did you know him?
Now, how old is he?
He's young. He's let's see how old CJ Miles is. He's a basketball player. Yeah, he was born in 87, so he's 25.
Yeah, I didn't know him.
All right. So
Where did he go to high school? Did he go to my high school or Skyline?
he went to Calvin Andre. CJ Miles is an American professional basketball player, native of Dallas. Miles was drafted in 2005 by the Utah Jazz after finishing high school. High school career. He attended Skyline High School.
Skyline. Okay, that's for a lot of people. Larry Johnson. I grew up playing basketball with Larry Johnson, dude.
Oh, did you?
Well, at the same court when he was much bigger than me.
We got Michael Johnson. Oh, there's Larry Johnson and Michael Johnson.
Yeah, Michael. Yeah,
Look
he went
at
to
that.
Skyline. Michael Johnson went to Skyline.
That's not bad. So that's Pleasant Grove. You got nobody in your town.
I know.
What's that? Hold on, let's look at mine, okay?
You
Let's
know,
see
I
my
could have
hometown.
actually guessed this by the look in my teachers' faces whenever they would say, "You guys can become something." It was just like this glazed over look, like they had given up already.
I can't
They
believe
were
you put
probably
Russ
right.
Martin on that list, dude.
Well, dude.
He's locally he's a big deal. Is it? But Wikipedia. Hold on. So basically, you could be a local hero because they're going to submit the information, right?
Right, yeah.
So Pleasant Grove submitted that information. Who the hell runs Pleasant Grove to submit that information?
Well,
Is
no,
there a
no.
mayor?
There's not like an official thing. It's somebody who was paying attention to the Pleasant Grove page became a Wikipedia editor.
So, hey, I got an
Put those
idea.
things-
What if
Anybody can be an editor.
Anybody can be a Wikipedia.
What if
editor.
we keep submitting stuff about ourselves to that area? Are you aware that
Dude,
Jody
we-
Ryan's from Louisville and just do it all the time?
We did that bit 5 years ago on Wikipedia, and our Pugs and Kelly page was so incredibly jacked up and changed so much because we were encouraging people to put the most crazy stuff that Wikipedia took our page down completely.
Yeah.
Now we don't even exist
Yeah.
because we fucked with
But
it
like,
too much.
what if we made some really cool bios in each other, and we sent them into our local, like to this, and like got our names at? Where would you be though? From Chicago, I guess.
Well, Orland Park. We're going through my town. All right, here we go. I got John Cangelosi.
Don't know him.
He's a baseball player, pretty good baseball player, little John Cangelosi. Pat Fitzgerald, he was a Dallas Cowboy, but now he's Northwestern's head coach. Buddy Guy, the blues legend. Got Justin Hartley. He's on Smallville. I don't know what Smallville is.
That's the show that was about Superman, wasn't it?
We got some soccer players. Brian McBride of the Columbus Crew.
Oh yeah, Brian.
Yeah, I don't know, soccer,
Right.
pro soccer players. Tim McCarthy, this is our big one. He's our chief of police. He's like they're gonna build a statue to him in our town. This guy, he's the guy that took the bullet for Reagan. He was the former Secret Service
that's pretty
agent
cool.
who
Wow.
jumped in front of the bullet for Reagan.
Yeah.
He's now our chief of police, and he's been our chief of police for about 20 years since he retired from the Secret Service in the early 90s. And As soon as he became chief of police of our hometown's police force became like something out of a Bruckheimer movie.
Yeah.
We've got like the most advanced SWAT teams. We've got everything. We've got all. It's insane. We've got literally, there is an Orland Park police car. You know, the police cars all look the same. They've got a semi-trailer that is painted like an Orland Park police car, and inside of it is like a mobile unit, like where they can like do anything, like a massive hostage standoff.
Hold on, we have
or some
like
kind of
RVs in Dallas that are like that.
But Dallas, this is Orland Park. This is a town
Right.
of 30,000 people.
Oh, you're from a small town?
Well, no, it's a suburb. It's a south suburb of Chicago, but they're not. It's not a small town. I mean, the town next to it. The next 15 towns around us also have 30,000 people.
You know what's
so it's, you know.
You know what's interesting? At what point do like old time gangsters like pull up Chicago and see if it says Al Capone?
I'm not done. Hold on, I'm still going through the
okay.
people I know.
I just assumed you were done.
Let's see. We got here Shannon McDonald. Don't know who that is. Oh, he plays for the Irish national football team. I don't know what that is. Bill Rancic. Told you about him.
Oh yeah, I knew that.
Grew up with Bill. Played football with him. Robin Tunney. I've told you guys about her. The actress. She was. She's a girl from The Craft. Remember we were talking about her out there.
Yeah.
Remember we pulled her up.
Yep.
And that's it. Yeah. So I don't know. We got
Now,
some actors.
at what point do you get to be a crime figure and be listed on something like this? Like, do they list Al Capone? I would assume.
Yeah. I mean, Al Capone would probably be listed in.
So, like modern day
Chicago
people,
or
like, would they
Cicero.
put Tim McVeigh wherever he's from?
Sure. Yeah. Probably.
Where's he from?
Let's see. Let's test that. Let's look up Tim McVeigh and let's click on his hometown.
Because there's a certain point where you're not proud of that, and there's a certain point where you are. It's like people are proud that Al Capone's from there. You know what I mean? But are you proud of Tim McVeigh from being from your area, or do you push that under the rug, or how does that work?
Let's see. Tim McVeigh. Is that how you spell it? I didn't think he spelled it that way.
McVeigh.
He is from. Where was he born? Lockport, New York. All right. Let's see. Let's see if Lockport, New York lists Timothy McVeigh.
As their claim to fame.
Timothy McVeigh gets a listing as a famous resident of Lockport, New York, convicted of terrorism responsible for the Oklahoma City bombings.
Okay, so there's a part, and of course they mention they got the notorious killer, and they got to make it big bad, but it's still interesting. It's still a celebrity type scenario.
Yeah.
Huh? Okay.
Well-
Would there be like you ever drive down the highways, and both of you guys know what I'm talking about? When you drive on trips and you look over, and every time you pass something, there's like a little a marker thing that's like a little plaque. It's on like a pole.
Right. Yeah.
So you ever pulled over and read any of those before?
Well, are you talking about the historical markers?
Yes.
Yeah, all the
usually
time.
Just try to hit them with my beer cans on the way.
yeah.
I decided
Or your
to-
shotgun as you're hanging out the window. No, but yeah, I've stopped and read them.
I'm so curious as to what they say. So on one of my trips to Vegas, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take this trip by myself. I'm gonna pull over to every time I see one of those damn things. About the 4th or 5th Boy Scout Troop 931, whatever, I got bored. Said, screw this. This is all like Boy Scout crap. Like most of those markers are like stuff that we don't care about. Like Girl Scout Brownie Troop picks up trash here once a month, something like that.
Well, yeah. Well, some of them are just like. Are you talking about where a community group will adopt a part of the
no,
highway?
I'm talking about
or-
the actual like.
Oh, there's like a plaque.
Yeah, like real nice,
and it looks like a
like ceramic, not ceramic, but like it's metal / concrete.
Right.
It's legit. Half of those do nothing but say like something Troop 961 something. It's nothing special. So I got bored. But do you think they have a Timothy McVeigh thing like that there somewhere?
No, I'm sure they don't. Yeah, no, you don't commemorate.
Well, I mean, you might
someone
still,
who's done
but
something.
you know
Here's
what?
where Timothy McVeigh thought it out.
Timothy McVeigh's home. His bedroom right here.
But I bet there's an Al Capone one.
There's a lot of Al Capone stuff.
Okay, so Timothy, they could have a plaque in front of his house like, this is where this notorious
Al
guy
Capone
lived.
is more of a romantic figure than Timothy McVeigh.
Right.
Timothy McVeigh is seen as a terrible, horrible human. Al Capone, there are people that my grandfather was a great example.
They adored him.
They adored him. Loved him. You know, my grandpa used to run down and. You know, when he was a little kid, used to chase Al Capone around in the neighborhood, and Al Capone was a great guy. Everybody in the neighborhood liked him. It was, he was doing some other
My
things.
grandfather knew a lot of the mobsters from Dallas back in the day.
Yeah.
He worked at the police station here, and he was when you work down there, it's like everything's connected. In fact, an interesting story is I ran into a guy that runs antique shops in Forney, Texas. Forney's known for their antiques. Now it's a place where you live. It's a big suburb. But 20 years ago, all you went out there for was your antiques. Okay?
Sure, yeah.
The guy that owns all the land out there and everything out there is a guy named Red. And you know, I didn't think this guy would remember my grandpa because Red was a little kid. My grandpa's like, you could tell him you know me, and he'll take care of you. Because I was trying to rent a space to do an auto shop, a body shop.
Right.
And sure enough, man, this guy was like, dude, whatever you want, I'll get you a space. It turns out my grandpa used to hook him up. You were told not to give your record service to anyone but this one guy, a mobster guy. But my grandpa felt bad for this little Red Whaley kid because he supported his mom and all this stuff. And my grandpa sent all of the business his way, and the dude never forgot it, and it was a pretty big deal. Now the dude's highly successful, owns half of Forney, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's kind of a neat, you know. But yeah, the Dallas was all mobbed up back in the day, and you know the Binions are from here. You know the Binions.
Yeah, you know Dallas was never really mobbed up though.
It was to an extent.
There was
not like you had.
I've had extensive conversations with mob guys who live down here. Who were, I mean, if you're from Chicago and you moved to Dallas and you were hearing the Pugs and Kelly show, you came to Duke's and introduced yourself to us because we were very, welcoming with that. And Joe's a guy who you might know. Joe was a big, he was a numbers guy and all that up in Chicago. He moved down here about 30 years ago. He's a little bit sketchy as to why he moved down here, but I think I don't think he had much choice. And what happened was the good old boys in Texas, they really fought off the mob. I mean, the organized crime was huge in New Orleans and Houston, and they really tried to settle Dallas, but they just couldn't. It wasn't worth their trouble.
Yeah, I may sound bigger than it was, but there was some mob people that were here.
Sure, the
they
Campeses were a very famous restaurant place. The Campeses have a very storied history.
But you know the guy that shot Jack Ruby was all connected to the mob and stuff.
Jack Ruby, that also goes back to the Campeses.
There's a guy named Diamond, and his tombstone is so huge over at the cemetery.
Sounds like a gambler.
You know, his name is something Diamond. He's got the most massive grave tombstone over in Pleasant Grove area. It is just huge. But he was a big mob. My grandpa told stories about this guy and what a big mob figure he was. But anyway, it's interesting to hear those old stories. Your grandpa chasing Al Capone around. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, all the kids in the neighborhood liked Al Capone. He used to give them I don't remember what it was.
Candy cigarettes.
Candy cigarettes.
Candy cigarettes. Yes, and exploding cigars and all that.
Yeah.
But no, everybody my age has a grandma or someone, especially if they lived in the neighborhood that we came from, that knew Al Capone.
Well, maybe if I can pass my Shaw laws and get the stripping things down, I can get noted on the Pleasant Grove website.
Yeah.
Wikipedia. How cool
all right, I don't think the Shaw laws are going to happen. What do you say we take a break here? We've been stretching pretty long. Let's take a break. Let's reestablish. We'll come back. Got a little bit more of PMS today for a Friday afternoon. Brandon Shaw is with us. He's going to go and try and work on that ordinance to get strip clubs to list their fat girls.
It's a need. It's a need.
Or whatever it is. It's a need. All right.
Maybe you should write the speech for them just so that they know what direction they should be heading in when they talk to Congress about it.
Yeah. All right. We'll take a break. We'll come back. It's PMS on thebarlive.com. It's thebarlive.com PMS. The midday show heard every Monday through Friday, although we don't do Mondays yet. Noon to 2 right here at thebarlive.com. Bar Live, your home for a whole myriad of professionally produced talk radio programming. We've got Big Dave and Chloe. Their show is Oot and a Boot. You can find them. Also, YNR Radio. That's a show that debuted here. No, actually, it didn't debut here. Debuted somewhere else. But we found them in the minor leagues, and we brought them here to the other level of minor leagues.
Semi-pro.
Yeah, we found them playing rookie ball.
Yeah.
And we brought them up here to AAA. And now, we're going to see what they got for the big leagues.
Yeah.
All right, all that stuff can be found at thebarlive.com. That is, of course, Jimmy Ryan tweaking the knobs. Hi, Jimmy.
Hey, man.
Brandon Shaw, Mr. Sunbrew himself, is here as well as we broadcast live from the Sunbrew Summer Beach House here in beautiful, sunny North Dallas, Texas. The time? Well, it's 1:14 in the afternoon. Do you know where your children are?
Jimmy?
Do you remember those? Do you remember those PSAs?
No.
No, I remember the show, though. Have you checked on the children? Remember the caller would call you up? The scary show.
No.
I was just processing how creepy that was. Like, they would actually say that. Do you know where your children are
Yeah.
right now?
Hold on,
Yeah.
y'all don't remember
Hold on, wait a second. Every night at 10 o'clock, just before the 10 o'clock news would come in, where I was from, they would say, "It is 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are?" And then they just go to the news. It was like a voiceover, just reminding everyone that, hey, get your kids off the street, and it's 10 o'clock, they should be in.
That's
It
eerie.
does sound kind of creepy.
Yeah.
If you say it creepy. Like if you say, it's 10 o'clock. Yeah. Do you know where your children are? Like if you say it like that, it's creepy.
Yeah.
But if you say like, it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? That's more like, hey, be a parent. All right.
Yeah.
We're reminding you to be a parent here.
But what if you don't want to? What if you just want them to crawl in around 1, 2 o'clock?
What if you're glad they're missing somewhere?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Jimmy's
finally got
like,
them out
hell
of the
no,
house.
I don't know where they're at. I don't care.
That's the best part of my night is that I don't know where they are.
All right. We
Yeah,
can
I
handle
can't
that,
believe I don't
guess.
remember the horror flick, though. That they're called The Babysitters. Like, have you checked the children? The phone would ring. It was a major show. I don't remember what show it was, but it was like such an important show. You don't remember that at all, huh?
No, I remember Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
No, not that one.
But I don't remember. What was it called?
I don't remember the name of the show, but it was like the phone would ring, and they're like, "Have you checked on the children?" And it was like a real creepy voice, and it was the kids were of course.
Oh, so it's like, are you talking about a horror show?
it was a
horror movie?
horror flick, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, isn't that... There's a whole bunch of... All right, there's a couple of different horror movies that use the telephone scenario. Scream did that.
Oh, yeah,
Where they'd
yeah.
call in the Scream. Then I believe A Cry in the Dark was another one. And there was one... The call is coming from inside the house. You remember that one?
Yes, what was that though?
Call is coming from... Oh, my God. Like, getting these calls from a creep. That was... All right, now you got me.
I think that's the one that said, "Have you checked the children?" I think that's the same one.
Is that it? All right, now I thought that was... Hold on.
What's your favorite all-time horror flick, Jimmy? Of all time?
I'd have to say Exorcist, just because I was so young when I actually saw it.
Pugs, you have one? All-time?
Oh, without a doubt, I have one. Yeah,
It's Friday the 13th, Part 1.
It is. No. For you,
Yeah,
Friday the 13th.
yes.
Oh, mine is without a doubt. There has never been a better scary movie made ever, in my opinion, than The Shining. That is the creepiest.
Yeah.
Stanley Kubrick at his absolute creepy best.
Yeah.
Just the elevator door. That the elevator comes down to the lobby and the blood immediately starts to seep through from the elevator door, and then the elevator doors open up and it's like a tidal wave of blood that fills the hall. Oh! Or how about the little girls in The Shining?
I don't remember The Shining.
Come play with us. Remember the
Tricycles, yeah.
Yeah, you don't remember? Actually, it was fun. Did you ever see the Family Guy episode where they did like a Shining thing?
No.
They went to go live at the mansion of Lois's. You know, Lois's father's a billionaire.
Yeah.
Pewter Schmidt, Mr. Pewter Schmidt. They go live at his mansion. It was like a Shining mansion, and Stewie was riding his tricycle around the hallways of this just expansive mansion. And the two Shining girls show up at the end of the hallway, and they're like, "Hi, we want to play with you."
Wow.
And of course, he screwed him up. He just went right through him. He wanted nothing to do with him. Stewie wasn't afraid of him. Stewie wasn't afraid of the ghosts.
Yeah, that definitely was. That was creepy too. I think that the only reason why I would go with the other over that one is just because I was young. It was the first real scary movie that I watched, The Exorcist.
Exorcist
So-
is right there. Exorcist is either 2 or 3 with me. I mean, I'm staunchly in the camp of The Shining. Brandon, you haven't seen The Shining? You gotta see Why did your parents not let you see it? I think when you were
Oh,
a
I
kid.
can see stuff. I just don't remember seeing it. I might have saw it. I just don't recall it.
Jack Nicholson. Here's Johnny.
Oh, I've seen parts of that. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, man, that was
Definitely
awesome.
some creepy moments.
Olive oil. It was Jack Nicholson, olive oil, and Scatman Crothers, the black guy. He was like the all right. Yeah, the premise was that they went to. He was a writer. Jack Nicholson was a writer. He had writer's block. So his agent set him up with a caretaker job where he had to go off to the Lookout Resort in the middle of the mountains in Colorado, and he was going to stay there for the winter with his family while everyone else went away because the blizzards come and the ski resort isn't really operational these months. So he goes up there with his wife and his little kid, and he goes to this crazy massive resort hotel, and he's the only person in there, and he slowly starts to go crazy. And it turns out that like everybody who's left alone in this place goes crazy because there's all these ghosts and stuff. Oh, it's horrifying. The Shining. I don't even know what it's about. I don't even know what The Shining means. Actually, I do know what The Shining means. The Shining is what the black guy told the little kid that he had. The Shining. It's kind of like a psychic ability.
Friday the 13th is one of the scariest shows you've ever seen. Honestly, part one.
No, you know why? Because I was never frightened by, and this is a good distinction that needs to be made in horror movies. I was never afraid of someone that was running through the woods with an axe.
Yeah.
That wasn't my
But
fear.
we didn't know that at first. We did know, but we
Yeah.
didn't know it was a mom.
I'm not afraid of monsters like werewolves. I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid of crazy psychos with axes and stuff because that's all more about
What are you
gore.
afraid of?
Any kind of demonic, any kind of mysterious, unknown sort of thing. Like, for instance, there was a movie called Communion. Have you ever seen Communion? Communion is the story of Whitley Strieber, who is a very famous author. He is famous. Well, actually, he was an author before he became really famous, and he was semi-famous, but then he got abducted by aliens and started writing exclusively about his experience. And then he became sort of like the alien abduction author. That's Whitley Strieber. So he made a movie called Communion, which was about his first abduction. The first time that he was abducted, he was in the woods at this cabin, and his wife was sleeping next to him, and they came through the window, and it was a big light, and everything froze. That is a scary movie. To me, that's scary. Aliens are scary to me because they might be real, they might not be real, we don't know. Monsters aren't real. I don't believe in monsters. I'm not worried about that. Zombies, Dracula, I'm not afraid of that. But aliens and demons, like devil stuff, like people possessed by like that stuff freaks me out. But not anything where anybody's gonna get an axe in the head. That's not creative.
Chainsaw Massacre didn't scare you?
No. I thought Chainsaw Massacre was awesome.
It was creepy.
It was awesome.
I get scared about
Yeah.
the creep when it's like weirdos, like weirdo type stuff, which is what that was. But man,
Hold on. Getting back to where we started, the movie we were talking about, where you said someone calls, is called When a Stranger Calls. That's the one that I was thinking of. The children the call is coming from inside the house. When a Stranger Calls was 1979. Starred Charles Durning, Carol Kane, Colleen Dewhurst, and Tony Beckley. And I promise that you don't know any of those people, right?
don't.
Type in have you checked on the children and see what movie comes up for that.
But are you sure that's the line?
Yeah, have you
if
checked on the children?
To be fair, though, most movies that come out nowadays, I don't know most of the actors or actresses, so.
Yeah, it's like bands.
I think
don't
you're
know
thinking
most
of When a
bands.
Stranger Calls, because this is the big one. This is the big movie
The
that's
phone
been...
rings. Like, have you checked on the children? It's like a babysitter.
There's the whole phone gimmick in Scream. You know, Scream was basically just patchwork
Hello, Sydney.
of a bunch of different horror movies. The phone in Scream was directly from When a Stranger Calls.
Well, that's what I kind of dug about Scream when it first came out, is that they were making fun of horror flicks while trying to make one that's stereotypical.
It's a parody, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was pretty well done.
Yeah.
You know, it went for a long time, but the original one I thought was pretty good.
Yeah, not bad. All right, so you like the slasher flicks? That's what you're into, the gore and the slash and all that. That's
Yeah.
it's a big market. Our friend Bruce is all involved in the slasher market, but none of his movies scare me. They make me laugh, and I think that's a big part of the slasher movies.
How's he
Right.
doing with that? Is it still happening? Is he still rolling? Is he making movies?
Yeah, he's doing well. I don't know. Last I heard, he was moving to Mexico, so that's the last bit I heard.
Not gonna be my neighbor no more.
No, yeah, he lives right down the block here.
I mean, he says he's moving to Mexico. I said he won't be my neighbor anymore.
No, probably not. Mexico or Belize? I think it was Belize. Were you there when we were talking about where he was going?
Belize, yeah.
Belize? Yeah, I think it's Belize.
What?
He's tapping out.
He's done.
He's
Retiring?
done.
Retiring.
He's made his money. He's retiring. He's gonna go. He bought a resort in Belize, and he's gonna go live in there. Have his own little shining moment.
Yeah.
All right. So Jimmy, what did you say you thought was your favorite horror movie?
I would have to say either Exorcist or The Shining. Both of those.
Exorcist is good. Brandon, you put The Exorcist up there?
Can't remember that one either much.
The Exorcist.
I've seen it. I have a horrible memory.
Oh
dude.
my God! All right, well then let me help you guys here because I am an aficionado of the golden age of horror films, and the golden age of horror films begins in 1968 with Roman Polanski's Rosemary's Baby, and it ends around 1980 with The Shining. After that, that's when all of the teenagers trapped in the woods getting hacked up by madmen genre came in. And there weren't any real. I would say that the best, I'll give you the top 5 best horror movies ever made in the golden age of horror filmmaking, 68 to 1980. Rosemary's Baby comes in at number 5. Number 4, we're going to put in The Omen, the original Omen.
Yeah,
ever
Autumn
seen
in
that?
the chat room actually brought up The Omen, the original Omen.
Oh, the original Omen. Yeah, these are the 5 greatest horror films of all time, okay? My opinion. Rosemary's Baby. You ever seen Rosemary's Baby? Oh, no? Dude, now that's creepy. That's Roman Polanski at his creepiest. It's about the devil. It's about this chick, Mia Farrow. She lives in this fancy New York City apartment building with her husband, and everybody in the building is so nice. Oh, it's like nice old couples and really nice people. And she gets pregnant, and suddenly they realize that the entire building is really obsessed with her pregnancy, and she doesn't understand why. Why is everybody so interested in Rosemary's Baby? Well, because Rosemary is the only one that doesn't know that this entire apartment building in New York City is a satanic cult. And everyone who lives in this apartment is a Satanist, including her husband. And she's been impregnated with the spawn of devil. And she has to give birth to a devil. And the horns come out. Oh, it's horrifying. It's horrifying. Not my baby. It's horrifying. Yeah. It's great. And it's Roman Polanski. So you know there's no cheap shots there. I mean, he's a good filmmaker. He's a great, creepy, filmmaker. So Rosemary's Baby, The Omen, number 3, what am I going to do at 3? Rosemary's Baby, The Omen, Exorcist, I'll go with 3 because that's a really good one. And I know there's another one that I'm missing, but we'll go with number 1.
Amityville Horror?
The Shining. Amityville Horror! That is the one I was missing. Yes, Amityville Horror was awesome. The original. Yeah. So that's it. So dude, you were like inside my head. That's the one I couldn't come up with. So I got Rosemary's Baby at 5. Number 4, I got The Omen. Number 3, I got The Exorcist. Number 2, I got Amityville Horror. And number 1, The Shining. Those are, in my opinion, the 5 best horror films made from the golden age of horror filmmaking, 1968 to 1980.
I got to be honest, I'm really surprised if you're going back in history that you can't include Friday the 13th. I feel like that and like Halloween are just classics.
But they're different genres, though. It depends on what appeals to you.
Good.
Jason in Space. I mean, that was
stupid.
That was really good.
I'm not saying that I didn't. And you know what else I really liked? You know what I thought was a really good one, and I saw it in the early 80s? Was
Freddy?
Freddy, Nightmare on Elm Street. I did not want to go see that. I thought that looked stupid. I was a horror movie snob. I was only like 12, 13 years old. And I was like, this looks stupid. Like, it's like we went and saw it, and I loved that movie. I went and saw like the next 3 because I loved the original so much. Mm-hmm. And then I
didn't like the other ones.
I stopped going.
I didn't like the ad.
No, they were terrible.
Remember the show
The
Fog? The Fog.
Sure I do. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I wonder if these shows had a more impact on me because I was like in 3rd grade, where it's really scary. Like I remember going down to my friends. They had remember the Betamaxes? Those real big record-looking things. They were betas. And these rich people, supposedly rich, my neighborhood, they had the beta, and we would have movie night like every other Friday. Our families were closed. We'd go down there. We'd walk down there in the dark. And dude, I'll never forget leaving their house after these scary shows, and the longest walk home, dude. You're you're right next to your dad, looking. You're like,
no, not me. I grew up without a dad.
Looking behind every tree, dude, thinking they're about to get you. I'd come home, get all my army stuff gathered up, and basically set up my fort of being scared all night long.
Yeah, in your fort. Yeah, in your fort. Nice.
You had forts, right?
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, I had awesome forts.
Yeah.
I didn't, I don't know. Here's another one that I remember seeing. It was one of my grandpa took me to it. And it was on the sly because none of the other adults could know that I was going to see this. Because apparently all the kids were freaked out about it. It was supposed to be horrifying. And I remember hearing about it, and I said to my grandpa, I don't think I'd be that scared by that. I was only like 5 or 6 years old. I think I can handle that. And he wanted to see it. So he was like, all right, let's roll the dice. Let's see what happens. And we went and saw Jaws. And everybody was so freaked out by Jaws. And I was like, no, see,
is that considered a horror film?
Oh, yeah. But even as like a 5 or 6 year old kid, I could like say, all right, so I just won't go in the water. Done.
Right.
I'm not scared.
Yeah.
Shark's not coming after me. He's not going to get me in my bedroom at night.
It's much like being threatened by Aquaman.
Yeah.
You just stay out of the water.
You
But,
know-
but I
You don't
could
have an
figure that
issue.
out as a kid. You know, I was like,
Yeah.
I like knew that like there were. I also figured out that Santa, there was no way possible without the aid of magic that he could go around the world giving presents to every kid on the planet. I knew that that couldn't be done in one night. Even at
Yeah.
like 6, 7 years old, I saw the flaw there. But I did actually have a theory of what he might do. And that was when I was a little kid, I remember having this theory. First of all, there's no magic, so the sleigh isn't going to fly. He probably drives a truck. So that was it. I believed he drove a truck.
You have the most logical Santa ever.
Right.
He comes
Yeah.
by, he knocks on the door. If
Well-
you aren't there, he leaves a note.
And the most logical yet still wildly ignorant 5-year-old trying to break down what his game is. Yeah. Yeah. Now, the horror movies, I love horror movies. I'd love to do like a horror movie film festival. My last wife didn't like horror movies. That was a problem.
Really?
Yeah, because that's one of my go-to moves when you're like in a relationship is you do horror movie night.
Yeah.
Where you make them watch like some old scary horror movie.
I thought they did like first date, so they got to grab you and stuff.
No, first dates. Movies are terrible for a first date. They're like the worst possible.
Not first
date.
date. I'm sorry, like you know, in the beginning stages of dating though, when you're like not your first date, but when it's time to start making the moves and you want to be a little intimate.
Yeah.
You put on a scary movie and you sit on the couch. That
Sure.
way you're all like, you got the blanket around.
Yeah,
you.
I absolutely could see that work if you're home and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
But I would
It's a
never.
no-brainer.
I would never go on a first date to a movie because you don't talk.
No, it's a horrible. It's a horrible
terrible.
first date. I didn't mean to say first date. You know what I'm saying. I tell you what's bad for movies. These chairs. When you're dating a chick and it's in the
These
beginning
chairs
stages,
here in your movie room?
the only thing's cool is you can fit 2 people on one chair, which is nice.
Right.
But it's like that little freaking barrier of love there.
It's uncomfortable with 2 people and it's forced. You know, it's like
if you're snuggling super tight in a spoon position, it's not bad. Trust me. But the fact of the matter is, those little barriers to get there, it creates a separation of you and your date.
yeah.
That's a negative thing. I never got those big bean bags that they had at the furniture store.
Oh, I like those big bean bags. Those are nice. Those are nice. Hard to get out of sometimes, but they're nice. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. It's more PMS, the Pugs Moran Show for a Friday afternoon. We're here with Brandon from Sunbrew, his house, his place, his rules, and Jimmy Ryan tweaking the knobs. I'm Pugs Moran, PMS on thebarlive.com. It's PMS, the Pugs Moran Show on the BarLive.com. Be sure and join the whole BarLive.com crew out there at the cigar shop. Hey, Brandon! Where are we going? We're going to the place in Addison. I want to make sure I know it right. It's
Addison Road.
Addison Cigar Shop?
Yeah.
Addison Cigar Shop right there on Addison Road, just north of Beltline Road. Be out there doing some broadcasting later this afternoon. What time does that all start?
I believe it starts at 4.
Starts around 4 o'clock? Yep. All right,
Sure does.
good times. Come on, come all. It's the Addison Cigar Shop live remote broadcast today with the BarLive.com. All right, a couple of things here. Brandon, are you watching you watching Louie? The show
yeah.
Louie?
Uh-huh.
Did you see last night's Louie?
Mm-hmm.
What
Yeah,
did you think of that? You thought it was great?
Yeah, I thought it was great.
I thought it was good. I always think Louis are good, but the problem with watching Louis is that we are so conditioned to expect certain benchmarks in a sitcom. Mm-hmm. Louis just films for a half hour, and whatever happens, and it's typically funny because he's funny.
Right.
You know, it's such a weird structure. Like, for instance, where the big joke in Seinfeld was, you always want to leave the room on the big laugh. And that's the way most sitcoms will go to commercial, with a big laugh or some kind of... God, Louis goes to a commercial with just like a conversation like this.
Yeah.
And then it just goes to black. And it's like, well, that was kind of weird. Now I want to stick around and see what the rest of that conversation was all about.
Well, and it's so... it has such a pace. It's a slow-paced show. And then all of a sudden, like, something big will happen, and you're taken aback by it.
Right.
Like, last night, that last scene, like, something happens, and I was just like, whoa!
Wait, what happened in the last scene?
When the girl, like, slams him into the...
Oh, yeah, that was in the last scene. Yeah, when she, punched him in the face and broke her car window with his head.
Yeah.
And
I was like, oh, my God.
And then made him perform cunnilingus on her.
Yeah.
That was Melissa Leo, by the way, Academy Award-nominated actress from...
Wow.
They do get a lot of good guests, though. They get a lot of people you don't expect to see in sitcoms coming by.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brandon, last night on Louie went out on a date with a girl. It wasn't really a date. He went to Alan Havey, comedian Alan Havey, who some of you may know. He went to Alan Havey's house. So it was Louie and Alan Havey's wife, and then Alan Havey's wife brought this other chick. So it was kind of like a setup. You ever been on one of those setups?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been on setup.
Oh, me too. I hate them. Jimmy,
Yeah.
you ever been on setups?
I refuse each time. I make sure that I don't do
worst.
that.
They are
Yeah.
the worst.
They are the worst. It's awful. Yeah, I'd rather just do it organically. Don't make me sit across the dinner table talking to a stranger, pretending like I'm interested. Because if I'm not immediate, it doesn't work. Yeah. So anyway, he goes over and he finds out that he's being set up with this girl, Melissa Leo, and she didn't know that she was being set up either. So they're like very angry at the couple, and then they decide to just ditch out when the couple has one of their awkward dinner party fights. It's the hosting couple will typically have at some point some kind of a flare up where somebody will be called an asshole or something. Just always awkward for the guests. So Louie and his girl leave. You saw this, right?
Yeah.
So Louie and his girl leave and they go to a bar, and it turns out they like each other. I don't know if they're sexually attracted to each other, but they're having a good time. They're getting drunk at the bar. They're making each other laugh. They're having a really good time. So they get back in her truck, and she basically forces... Oh, actually, no. They get back in the truck, and she says, so unzip it, and I'm going to blow you now. Right? Just like real matter-of-factly. And he was kind of like, whoa, wait. We're here then. This is... all right, it's a little weird. And so she does it very aggressively, and he's very satisfied. And then she says, okay, your turn. And he's like, no, I didn't know it was my turn. I don't do that. And then he's trying to explain to her that it's not that he doesn't do that. It's just that he considers it a more intimate act, to which she had to argue, oh, what, and me blowing you wasn't an intimate act? And he's like, well, not for you, which was the right answer, right? Mm-hmm. It was very good. And of course, she basically rapes him. She punches him in the face so hard that his head smashes off the side window, shattering the side window. And then he looks at her like, what the hell? And then she jumps on him, lifts her dress up, and she basically sits on his face and makes him pleasure her. And then what was the very last line of that thing? She said to him, so you want to go out again?
Yeah.
And what does he say?
He's like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? This was wild.
Dude, my last little setup date, whatever you want to call it, I told you about it a while back. It was with James Wood's girlfriend.
Oh yeah. I heard about that.
The
girl.
worst date I've ever been on. This
Yeah, you
girl
took her to
was-
karaoke and stuff.
Yeah, what a
That's a
bitch.
good first date. Karaoke's a good date.
It was it was a great first date. Everyone had, but this girl had such mental issues. If you weren't putting all your focus on her,
Right.
then she was mad, angry at the world. I tell you, angry.
Yeah.
But it was an interesting. I got some of that on video.
All right. That's I want to see that. Actually, I did see that girl. I saw that girl.
Her name's Ashley Madison.
Yeah. I went looking for some reason after that. Yeah, she's an attractive girl.
Beautiful girl. But
James Woods doesn't look like he gives a rat's ass about her though.
yeah, beautiful girl. But her name is the same as that dating website, so she
Right.
had to tell me all about her big lawsuit and how her and James are winning this
her and
lawsuit
James.
because of this Ashley Madison stole her name and her likeness. But she's the girl that was like a big bitch at his brother died. And apparently at the funeral, she was more worried about her looks and the photographers and all this stuff. And it was all over the news. So before I ever met her, I kind of remembered that story. It's like, oh, great, this girl's a pleasure.
you know she's a problem.
Yeah, I did take her back. I was like, so do we need to do anything here? I was so mad at her. I was kind of standing her. But
we
I was
need
like,
to do
I kind of
anything
like, if we're gonna have sex for, let's do this, or
Uh-huh.
I need to go, or what? You know what I mean? But I was so out on it, dude. But I thought, maybe I'll bang her just to be because she's a bitch, you know.
Well, and she's hot too. So
She's definitely hot.
Why not?
Definitely
Why
hot.
not? You spent karaoke dollars on her, so
I made my buddy pay for all that.
Oh, you did?
I was like, dude, I told the girl off several times, like, you can leave.
And you made your friend pay? That's
Absolutely. I was like, dude,
I know. I get that.
They
he
felt
set
bad.
you up. So
him and his girlfriend, it was her sister. Anyway, they felt bad. Like, oh my god, this girl, she was just a horrible person. and then it's not she didn't like me. She just, if you weren't giving all your attention to her, it was just off the charts crazy. What this chick was like.
yeah, I can imagine what those girls are like. The ones that are pretty enough in their small town that they decide that at 18 they're going to go move out to L.A. and get themselves an actor.
What is he, like 60?
Oh yeah, he's all old and he's a sleazeball. I mean, like a historic sleazeball. So although I do enjoy and another nice Seth MacFarlane Family Guy reference. Do you know what the junior high they go to is James Woods Junior High?
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that is
They-
funny.
James Woods Junior High, and they went to Ella Fitzgerald Middle School. It's just all of these weird celebrity named schools. Well, all right, very good. Hey, the thing that I was ramping up to, though, yeah, I mean, I liked Louis, but Louis is such a different show. It's such an odd, different kind of show. Did you happen to catch episode 2 of Brand X, Russell Brand's new show?
Yeah.
Okay, what did you think of that?
I still think that the format's kind of weird, but I like Russell Brand, so I'll go through it.
I like Russell Brand too, but I don't know that I'll watch a third week.
Yeah.
That show is just not. They need a showrunner. They need a producer. What I think is going on here is I think FX went, hey, let's give Russell Brand a show. And Russell Brand went, all right, this is how we do it. We're going to film it in front of a live audience. And I'm just going to be unhinged.
Yeah.
Well, that's not what a TV show. That's a good live show.
Yeah.
But that's not going to keep people from flipping the channel. It's going to keep people from getting up and walking out because that's a much more serious commitment to make. If you're in a live theater and but you could just flip the channel. They got to do something. Something's got to happen here. They don't know what to do with the smart guy from Harvard. That guy, he's just sitting there.
Right.
And did you see the weird thing they did with the mice yesterday that made no sense?
Yeah, I thought that it seemed like they were trying to do something kind of wacky that you
Yeah.
could look forward to each week,
That show has no idea what it's doing or what it is.
No.
And maybe a couple weeks down the road they'll figure it out. But right now, it's not a good show. And Russell Brand is a good performer. He's a good entertainer.
Yeah. I'm going to watch it just because it is so badly put together. And Russell Brand's on it. You know what I mean? I'll watch it because I'm not expecting like a high production value. I'm just expecting like a guy just going around doing random things and then just waiting for those moments when they are going to do something weird like those mouse.
But I'm starting
scenes.
to worry that no one can tell Russell Brand anything. It seems
Right.
like, I got this. It's like he's going to do the whole thing. He doesn't realize it doesn't look good. It's
Yeah.
not showing well to American audiences.
Yeah, and I think that just the topics are going to lose so many people. The only reason why I'm able to get into it is because Russell Brand does go into these topics that normally you aren't going to hear somebody talking about. So it's kind of interesting.
He needs to do more. He needs to do more of the current events kind of stuff. This is what
Yeah.
I think because he's an interesting guy.
Mm-hmm.
But man, what I saw was just a guy doing a 20-minute stand-up routine in front of
Right.
an audience, just killing time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you do kind of expect there to be something, like some kind of production value in
Have
it.
you seen this yet? Brand
No,
X?
haven't seen it.
Russell
No.
Brand's new
And
show.
there's nothing on TV. I tell you what I'm watching a lot. America's Got Talent. Because it's down to the best of the best, and it's so good, man. That's
Who's
what
it?
I
What
like.
we got? We got a juggler, a snake tamer.
Nope.
what do we have?
Right now, they got narrowed down to 48 acts, okay?
48.
So
the guy who made the giant organ harp, is he
he's
still
gone.
in it?
He's gone.
Gone. Why? It was like the coolest thing I'd ever seen.
I think he's gone. I'm almost sure he's gone. But what they do now is they put 12 acts on. Like, I don't know if it's on tonight or when it's on next, but they put 12 acts on and they narrowed it down to 4. So we went from 48 acts, we got rid of 8. So now we're down to 40.
Yeah.
And there'll be 3 more episodes of 12 and 12 until they get down to 12 total, 12 total acts left. The BMX stunt show, which is freaking great for what they're doing.
still in
Wait a
it?
second, so wait,
They just got knocked out barely just the other day, so they're out now.
This is the show that Howard's on, right?
Yes.
Wow.
And
he's
Howard
still
is
on it?
Howard is back to his old. No, Howard's back to normal Howard though.
Oh, is he back being
See,
mean?
y'all didn't hang in there. Y'all should have hung in there for one more
didn't-
week. You could have had it.
You know, but most of America didn't. It really didn't have great ratings this round.
I'll tell you, he's really good on it. I didn't like him the first week at all. The second week, he's back to normal Howard. It's good. He's a dick. He's all about himself. He's normal Howard. It's his show.
All right.
And I love the way Sharon Osbourne goes. She's like, people, is it not me? Am I the judge here or not? And they're like, oh yeah, like yeah, Howard. We're in New York, and you give away free tickets to the show.
Yeah, sure. That's
you
why
give
I
away
love
free
it.
tickets on your show to this show. But yeah, it's pretty funny, man. But the acts are really talented, man. They're so good. It was a hard. The last 12 that they put up against each other the other night, it was really hard to pick the top 4. There was about 6 of them that could have made the top 4. There was 2 or 3 that were obvious.
Okay.
Then there's 3 other ones that were like, man, it's gonna be close.
Well, we do have something to watch tomorrow night. This is a big fight weekend. We've got a big UFC card tomorrow night. Anybody going out to watch it anywhere? Anybody? Anybody got any plans?
No.
None. None for you. Probably the biggest and most anticipated fight the UFC has seen in, they do have a big anticipated fight every 6 months. But this is Anderson Silva, the pound-for-pound greatest fighter on the planet right now, taking on Chael Sonnen in Sonnen Silva 2. Now, this is a big deal because, I don't know if you remember this one, but Anderson Silva fought Chael Sonnen about a year and a half ago. And it was a 5-round title fight. And Chael Sonnen beat the holy crap out of Anderson Silva for 4.5 rounds. Unfortunately, the fight was 5 rounds. And in the last 30 seconds of the fight, when Sonnen was just coasting, just trying not to get submitted or not to get knocked out, he would have won it. He was winning on all cards. He was destroying the unbeatable Anderson Silva. And right there in the last 30 seconds, Anderson Silva got him in a freaking triangle choke, and he tapped out. No one could believe what they were seeing. If you watched it in a bar, you were like, oh my God, the greatest fighter on the planet was getting his ass kicked for the first 4.5 rounds. And then in the final 30 seconds, he went, all right, I'm done with this. It's time for me to put this guy to sleep. And he put him to sleep. It like came out of nowhere. And so now, of course, everyone's like, well, the only thing Chael's got to do is stay away from those submissions. And, he dominated him in the other fight. So this is going to be a big fight. We could have a changing of the guard. We could have Chael Sonnen defeat Anderson Silva and become the new middleweight champion in the UFC. I mean, this is really a major, major fight. This was supposed to originally be in Brazil, where Anderson Silva is from, but they had to change the card because Chael Sonnen talked so much crap about Brazil that the UFC couldn't guarantee his safety. So they had to change this fight to Las Vegas.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. All right. Also, we got another great fight here, and this is a great fight for the historians. Forrest Griffin taking on Tito Ortiz. Tito Ortiz, newly elected to the UFC Hall of Fame. Tito is going to be exiting his professional career after this fight. So they're giving him one last fight against Forrest Griffin, former light heavyweight champion. 2 former light heavyweight champions in Forrest Griffin and Tito Ortiz. They're going to slug it out. Kung Lee, there's another great middleweight battle between Kung Lee and Patrick Cote. Yeah, there's good stuff here. So here, I'll give you my picks for the top 3 fights, okay? Kung Lee versus Patrick Cote. Kung Lee, I'm going with Kung Lee. Kung Lee's got a very distinct style of fighting. A lot of guys in MMA don't know it. They're not recognized. They don't recognize it. They don't train against it. Kung Lee comes out of Strikeforce. He hasn't had much success in UFC, but I think Kung Lee is going to defeat Patrick Cote. Forrest Griffin and Tito Ortiz. Tito Ortiz's last fight. I'm going to pick Tito Ortiz. I want Tito to go out on top. I want him to go out with a win. That's, I think, who most people are going to... See, this is difficult because Tito Ortiz is one of the most celebrated fighters in MMA history, but Forrest Griffin is one of the most popular fighters in MMA history. So it's going to be interesting because people hate Tito. Just as many people who love Tito Ortiz hate Tito Ortiz. Everybody loves Forrest Griffin. So it's going to be interesting. There will be a contingent there that loves Forrest Griffin that would love to see him send Tito Ortiz into retirement with a bloody nose. But I don't know. I'm rooting for Tito. I like Tito. I'm on Team Tito. All right, and the big one. Here we go. I'll give you my picks for the big fight. This is the big one. This is Anderson Silva, Chael Sonnen 2 for the middleweight championship of the world in the UFC. Ooh, if Anderson Silva can't defend the takedowns of Chael Sonnen, it's going to be another long night for Anderson Silva. However, if Chael Sonnen hasn't worked on some of this high-level jiu-jitsu defense, it could be over in 10 seconds, just like it was the first time. I'm going to go with Anderson Silva. I think Anderson Silva is going to retain his belt. I think he's going to beat Chael Sonnen, although I'd love to see Chael Sonnen win. So there you have it. That's going to be the rundown for UFC 148 tomorrow night on pay-per-view. I'll be watching it with my crazy Navy SEAL guys.
How much are those fights? Are they pretty expensive?
I don't know. You know what? You know why I watch it next door? Because every single one of their bills is paid by the government. So, so I go next door and I watch these fights with them because their place is paid for by the government. Their electric is paid. Everything is paid for. Their cell phones, all of that stuff is paid for by the government.
You should just run like a extension cord over to your place.
Oh, we've mentioned it, but there's a wall. There's a problem with where the wall is. We've actually looked into it.
Yeah.
They're like, dude, we could totally splice this.
Drill a little hole.
I'm like, that would be awesome. But now we can't. It would be too much problems there. All right. Anything else as we wrap up today's show?
Nah, just if you're listening, we're going to be over at the Addison Cigar and Tobacco Shop right there off of like Broadway and Addison Road over there, right there about a block or two off of Beltline Road north.
Right. And that's going off at 4 o'clock?
4 o'clock. Okay. We'll be there from like 4 to, 6 or so. But their event goes from 4 to 8. They have, it's always a nice little turnout of people. It's good sales on cigars, everything you might need. But also Kelly will be there. That
Kelly,
beautiful, long-legged Kelly.
Beautiful and talented Kelly, our chief of sales here.
Yeah, you said talented. What is her talent?
Being a delight. How's that?
Okay, I just wanted to ask. Cool. All right, that'll be that's it, man. Check out sunbrew.com for us, sunbru.com. Join the Bar Live fan page. Anything else? I guess that's it for my world. What about you?
No, that's it. Yeah, that's all I got.
Jimmy?
Not much. That's basically it.
We're just full of excitement this weekend, aren't we, guys?
Yeah.
We're definitely in the happening world there. All right, guys, we'll check you out next time, man. For Pugs, I'm Brandon.
All right, we're out of here. It's PMS on thebarlive.com.
I did the thing, dude.
I'm sorry. I know. I'm distracted.
I was trying to go for it for once.